Hello my friend, and welcome to this month's Good News Show, where we take a look back at what's gone right over the last month. We'll be travelling to all of these countries without you even needing to leave your seat. If you're new here, I'm Sam and I make videos around good news and solutions to some of the world's biggest problems. And if you've been here before, I appreciate you so much, and if you're enjoying these roundups, tap that like button to help fight the doom and gloom in the YouTube algorithm with some positivity instead. Now let's get into it. Here's some good news from August that you might have missed. A life-saving device that keeps human organs alive outside the body for longer just won the UK's most prestigious engineering award. OrganOx, a spin-out from the University of Oxford, has been awarded the 2025 McRobert Award, a £50,000 reward that celebrated groundbreaking tech like the CT scanner and the world's first bionic hand. So what did OrganOx do? They developed a revolutionary device that mimics the human body by pumping a blood-like fluid through organs at body temperature, keeping livers and kidneys alive and functioning outside the body for over 24 hours. Some organs have even lasted several days in preclinical settings. This innovation has led to a 30% increase in transplant rates, drastically shorter wait times, and has enabled over 6,000 transplants across 4 continents and 12 countries so far. OrganOx is now testing a device that could one day perform liver dialysis using either a human or pig liver, potentially helping patients recover without needing a full transplant at all. And in other health news, a male birth control pill just passed its first safety trial. A hormone-free pill called YCT529 that temporarily stops those reproductive swimmers from being produced has just concluded its first safety trial in humans. In the study, 16 healthy men received single doses of up to 180 milligrams, and the drug was well tolerated with no serious side effects. Importantly, it didn't affect testosterone, other hormone levels, sexual desire, or mood. Key factors for a non-hormonal contraceptive. This could bring us a step closer to increasing male contraceptive options. On the subject of protection, this next story takes us to the US, where the ocean received some much needed protecting. In a big win for ocean conservation, a federal court in Hawaii has blocked Trump's attempt to reopen protected Pacific waters to industrial fishing. The ruling restores full protections to nearly 500,000 square miles within the Pacific Islands Heritage Marine National Monument, home to endangered sharks, seabirds, and coral reefs, and it upholds the area's cultural importance to indigenous Pacific communities. The decision came after Earth Justice filed a lawsuit on behalf of Native Hawaiian groups and conservation organizations, arguing that the Trump administration's rollback violated environmental laws and ignored public input. Now, industrial fishing must immediately cease in the protected zones around Johnston Atoll, Jarvis Island, and Wake Island, helping to safeguard fragile marine ecosystems from harmful longline practices. And this month, something really cool happened. The UN Global Goals team slid into my DMs with a really inspiring report about reasons to be hopeful, and it was packed with some really amazing stories. For example, did you know that since the year 2000, 14 countries have completely eliminated malaria? That means millions of lives have been saved, and it shows what can happen when communities and countries come together to tackle a big challenge. Another big win is that renewable energy now makes up over 30% of global electricity production, which is a huge leap forward from just a couple of decades ago. Plus, it highlighted a couple of incredible initiatives happening, such as the world's first indigenous-led multinational ocean reserve in the South Pacific, protecting millions of square kilometers of ocean, and also the new Tropical Forest Forever facility, which is mobilizing billions of dollars to help countries preserve their tropical forests. And here's a super interesting part. The report also highlights the science-backed reasons why consuming hopeful content and staying positive actually matters. It turns out that feeling hopeful can boost our motivation and make us more proactive. So every bit of positive action we take really does count. So as we go through these stories, just remember that your engagement and actions really do matter. So that's a little reminder to tap some buttons down below. Science says you'll feel better for it. Next, let's head to Albania to hear about an innovation helping to fight plastic pollution. This modified boat can collect a ton of trash in under 20 minutes and is cleaning up one of the most polluted rivers in Europe. This project from Planet Wild and Everwave is using an existing dam, a repurposed weed harvesting boat, and a Soviet packaging factory to help clean up the Drin River in Albania. Did you know that most ocean plastic comes from land travelling through rivers? Well, in Kukes, Albania, with no local waste management, this has led to huge amounts of trash ending up in the river and ultimately the ocean. But here's how they're tackling it. Step 1. The dam stops the flow of trash before it can reach the ocean, and holding it in one place makes it much easier to clean up. Step 2, the repurposed boat then chomps up and collects the trash. And step 3, the old factory is being converted into a recycling facility to help process all of the waste. With these steps, they can collect around 25 tons of plastic every month, and one of the coolest parts is they're entirely community funded. So every month, Planet Wild teams up with a carefully selected partner to carry out conservation projects like this one to protect endangered species, clean up oceans, and restore forests. And the team documents all their progress right here on YouTube so the community can see how their contributions are changing the planet. I've been a member for a while, and every 30 days I can see the impact of my contributions, which is pretty cool. And if you want to support them too, the first month is on me for the first 100 people who sign up using the link in my description box or this QR code on the screen. You can contribute whatever amount feels right and also cancel at any time. Together we can have an even bigger impact. Check out their full cleanup of the Drim River and all their other projects right here. Now, one of the biggest questions I sometimes get about how can we change the world is what can one person actually do? Well, this next story truly shows the power of individual action. A scientist from Tunisia led a powerful campaign that exposed a global waste trafficking scheme and forced 6,000 tons of illegal waste to be returned to Europe. Waste trafficking is when wealthier nations ship their waste to developing countries under the guise of recycling or environmental management, often exploiting legal loopholes. In reality, the waste is dumped in places that lack the infrastructure to handle it, causing serious environmental and health risks for local communities. That's exactly what Semia Garbi uncovered in Tunisia. Working with the Green Tunisia network, she exposed a corrupt deal that saw Italian household waste illegally exported to her country. Through a coordinated campaign of media outreach, government meetings, and public pressure, she helped spark an investigation, and by February 2022, an agreement was signed to send all 212 containers of waste back to Italy. Her actions didn't just resolve a national crisis, they sparked broader change. In 2023, the European Parliament and Council introduced tougher waste export rules, banning plastic exports, requiring proof of safe handling by receiving countries, and forming a new task force to combat organised trafficking. Garbi's campaign proved that with enough pressure, even global systems can be held accountable, and developing countries now have a stronger voice in the global fight for environmental justice. If you want to learn more on Semia's work about environmental education and protection in Tunisia, you can find more information on this account here. And following on from this topic, there was a huge ruling that could help communities hold big polluters accountable. The world's top court made a historic climate ruling, and it all started with a group of law students from the Pacific. Last month, the International Court of Justice declared that countries have a legal duty to protect people and ecosystems from the urgent and existential threat of climate change, and can be held accountable for the harm they cause, even from past emissions. While the ruling is advisory and not legally binding, it sets a powerful precedent. Vulnerable nations, often hit hardest by climate breakdown despite contributing the least, could now pursue compensation for loss and damage in national and international courts from the world's top emitters. Joy Chowdhury of the Centre for International Environmental Law said that this is a historic affirmation. Those suffering climate devastation have a right to remedy, including through compensation. The case was sparked by law students from Tonga back in 2019. One of them, Sioshio Vakuni, was at the ICJ to witness the ruling. He stated, "I'm lost for words. This is so exciting. This is a win we take proudly back home to our communities." This next batch of good news stories are all about wins for our wonderful wildlife, starting with a quick story that in Missouri, they're building a 300-mile butterfly trail that will turn Highway 13 into a pollinator paradise, full of wildflowers for monarchs, bees, and much more. Stretching through 12 western Missouri counties, the trail will include gardens, art installations, educational centers, and new research facilities to help struggling pollinators while boosting tourism and creating local jobs, which we love to hear. The next bit of good news for nature comes from Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone's Gola rainforest just achieved UNESCO World Heritage status, recognising its outstanding international importance for nature. Once under threat from intensive logging, poaching and civil war, this achievement means 320 bird species, 600 species of butterflies, pygmy hippos, pangolins and many more animals that call it home will now have much better protection. Achieving World Heritage status puts Gola on a prestigious list alongside places like the Great Barrier Reef, Mount Kilimanjaro and the Grand Canyon. The protection of the national park will now be managed by not-for-profit Gola Rainforest Conservation, who've partnered with the RSPB alongside the government of Sierra Leone to safeguard this natural wonder. Now let's take a trip to beautiful Hawaii. In a world-first conservation effort that may sound a little strange, drones are now dropping lab-grown mosquitoes over Hawaii's remote forests to save endangered birds. At least 33 native Hawaiian honeycreeper species are already extinct, and many of the 17 that remain, like the critically endangered kiwi ku and akike, are on the brink. Their main threat is avian malaria, spread by non-native mosquitoes that have invaded their mountain forest habitats. To fight back, the American Bird Conservancy and the Birds Not Mosquitoes Partnership are dropping biodegradable pods filled with non-biting lab-reared male mosquitoes, carrying a common bacteria that results in sterile eggs when the males mate with wild females. Over time, the invasive mosquito population will be reduced and native bird populations will have the chance to recover. Drone delivery allows for safer, more flexible deployment in areas too rugged for helicopters, and after years of rigorous testing and regulatory approval, this might be the lifeline that saves Hawaii's most iconic birds from disappearing forever. And whilst we're on bird-related good news, look at these little guys. They are Britain's rarest breeding bird who successfully nested this month. A pair of Montagu Harriers have raised 4 healthy chicks who've now all taken their first flight. This is all thanks to careful monitoring from the RSPB and a local bird watcher who set up fencing to protect their ground nest from predators. As always, I want to say a big thank you to my Patreon and YouTube community for helping me produce these videos and shine a light on the amazing people in every corner of the globe fighting for a better future. And for the price of a cup of coffee each month, you can help me make more of these videos, get access to exclusive content and bonus good news stories, and also get your name in them too. Just type this URL in or click the link in my description, or you can join right here on YouTube if that's easier for you. Now we head to the north and to Scotland. The world's largest tidal energy project off the coast of Scotland just hit a huge milestone, and it's already generating enough electricity to power up to 7,000 homes each year. Marine energy, which is power generated from tides, currents, waves, or temperature changes in the ocean, is the world's largest untapped renewable energy resource, and Scotland's Maygen Project 4 is proof of that potential. The project involves 4 submerged turbines, including one that's been operating continuously for over 6 years without a single unplanned maintenance shutdown. In the brutal conditions of open seawater, that's a record-breaking achievement and a major green light for investors looking to scale the sector. The Maygen site could eventually host up to 130 next-generation turbines, dramatically increasing clean energy output and helping tide power move from niche to the mainstream. And in other good news for clean energy this month, a new report from the International Renewable Energy Agency reveals that over 90% of new renewable energy projects in 2023 were cheaper than fossil fuels, even without subsidies. According to the report, solar, wind and hydropower were among the most cost-effective electricity sources last year. Solar energy is now 41% cheaper than fossil fuels, a dramatic shift from just a few years ago when it was 4 times more expensive. Onshore wind has seen similar progress, becoming 53% cheaper and now ranking as the most affordable source of new renewable energy. We have 2 more stories, and this one may be your favourite yet. The biggest ever trial of a 4-day work week found that workers were happier, healthier, and just as productive. The 6-month study followed nearly 3,000 employees across 141 companies in Australia, New Zealand, the US, Canada, Ireland, and the UK, all shifting to 4 days a week with no cut in pay. Before starting, companies streamlined workflows, cutting things like unnecessary meetings so they could still hit targets in fewer hours. Researchers had worried that compressing 5 days of work into 4 might add stress, but instead, stress levels fell. After 6 months, burnout had dropped, job satisfaction was higher, and employees reported better mental and physical health. The findings suggest that shorter work weeks could improve lives without sacrificing performance, offering a potential blueprint for the future of work. And for the final story, let's hear about a new brick that's helping clean up construction. A startup based in Sheffield launched an eco-brick which can capture and permanently store carbon dioxide. The Earth for Earth team were inspired by Fujian Tulu, traditional Chinese buildings built with earth and known for their sustainable design and energy efficiency. And these bricks don't just capture carbon. Incredibly, the process for making them is carbon emission free. They're made from excavated soil at construction sites which would otherwise end up in landfill. And they've even developed a manufacturing process that doesn't require heating to high temperatures, which is one of the main main sources of emissions when making traditional bricks. If that wasn't good enough, they're fully recyclable too and can be crushed and returned to soil as fertilizer. This is huge because the construction industry is one of the biggest emitters of greenhouse gases. The UN estimates it's responsible for over 1/3 of global carbon emissions, and these bricks could help change the game. That's a wrap, wherever you're watching from. Thank you so much. I actually got a message over on my Patreon this month from David Crouch, who says that every time a new video comes, our whole household watches it, and it just feels surreal that people are dedicating their time to sitting and listening to me ramble, and it means so much, and I really hope I'm doing your time and your support justice, and I'll continue to do my best to do so. And it'd be great to hear where you're watching from down in the comments. Tap like if you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you the next month, my friend. Bye!